Have you ever felt like the harder you try to grab something, the further it drifts away? What if chasing your dreams too hard is exactly what's keeping them from reaching you? And could it be that the key to getting everything you desire is to simply stop trying so hard? It sounds backwards, doesn't it? But think about it. You give everything, your time, your energy, your heart, to a goal, and yet it seems to run from you like sand slipping through your fingers. You push harder, you stress more. But what if the moment you stop chasing is the exact moment when what you've always wanted starts finding its way to you? It's like a magnet. The more you pull, the more it resists. But when you let go, it draws everything you need, naturally, effortlessly. Imagine that. No more fighting, just flow. Or picture a plant in a garden. You water it. You watch over it. You care so much that you never give it the space to just be. But the truth is, a plant doesn't thrive under pressure. It blossoms when you trust it to grow on its own. That's the beauty of surrendering to life's natural rhythm. While you're caught up in the chase, there's a quiet power waiting for you. The power of trust, of presence, of letting go. Because when you stop forcing things, you begin to flow with life. And in that flow, you start attracting everything meant for you. So how do you attract your desires without obsessing? How do you manifest without forcing, without stressing over every detail, without constantly wondering when and how? Stay with me, because this next part might just shift your entire perspective. Earlier, we explored the quiet power of letting go, the beauty of trusting life's timing instead of clinging to outcomes. Now let's take that wisdom even deeper. This is where Stoic philosophy shines. The great Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens as it should, and you will find happiness." Let that sink in. True peace doesn't come from bending life to fit your plans. It comes from aligning yourself with what is and trusting that everything unfolds as it's meant to. Imagine what that feels like. No longer stuck in frustration, no longer wrestling with the "why hasn't it happened yet?" Instead, you accept the moment fully and act from a place of calm intention. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, let's call her Lily, was chasing a major career milestone. She worked relentlessly. Day in and day out, she gave her all. But no matter how hard she tried, progress felt painfully slow. Her frustration grew. Doubt crept in. Why isn't this working? I'm doing everything I can. Then one day a mentor gave her a simple but powerful piece of advice. Focus on doing your best each day. Let go of the outcome. Trust that what's meant to happen will. Something clicked. Lily stopped obsessing over when and how. She shifted her focus to simply being her best self every day, without expectations. Slowly but surely, opportunities began to appear. The right doors opened, and suddenly, everything she'd hoped for started falling into place, without force, without stress. So how do you actually detach from outcomes? First, shift your focus back to your actions. Give your best effort every time, but don't tie your peace to the result. As second, release perfection. Trust that what's meant for you won't miss you. And third, stay present. Don't live in the future. Let life unfold. Trust the rhythm. At the end of the day, detaching from the outcome is about reclaiming your energy. It's about focusing on what you can control, your effort, your mindset, your presence, and letting go of the rest. When you do this, something beautiful happens. The things you once chased begin to come to you. Quietly, naturally, effortlessly. And this leads us into the next key, mastering your mindset. Because the real world doesn't shape your experience, your thoughts do. Let's dive deeper. We just talked about how detaching from outcomes frees your energy. But the true magic happens when you pair that detachment with a powerful, focused mind. Because when your mind is clear and grounded, everything changes. You become more creative, more resourceful, more open to new opportunities. Instead of reacting to life from a place of fear, stress, or panic, you respond with steady, thoughtful strength. Where others see walls, you begin to notice open doors. You stop surviving and start thriving. This is where Stoic wisdom shows up again. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Let that idea settle for a second. Your happiness doesn't depend on your bank account, your job title, or even your daily circumstances. It depends on one thing: how you choose to interpret what's happening around you. Because when you control your thoughts, you control your perspective. And your perspective, that's what shapes your entire experience of life. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. If your thoughts are clouded with doubt, negativity, or fear, everything starts to feel heavier. Success seems further away. Peace becomes elusive. But when your inner dialogue is rooted in clarity, optimism, and calm focus, you begin to move through life with ease. You become a magnet for growth, for peace, for progress. Let me tell you a story. A woman I know, let's call her Rachel, was constantly overwhelmed. Her days felt like a race against the clock. Work, deadlines, future worries. It all piled up. She was stuck in a loop of stress and anxiety. But one day, something shifted. Rachel made a decision. Instead of letting stress run her life, she was going to master her mind. She began practicing mindfulness, just a few quiet minutes each day to pause, breathe, and observe her thoughts. She stopped feeding the what-ifs and started focusing on what she could control: her actions, her responses, her mindset. Bit by bit, the fog lifted. She started to see challenges not as threats, but as chances to grow. And the more she trained her mind, the more life started showing her possibility where she used to see pressure. So how can you master your mindset? Step 1. Become aware of your thoughts. Notice the patterns. Are you lifting yourself up or dragging yourself down? Step 2. Reframe. When your mind says, "This is too hard," respond with, "This is a challenge I can grow through." Step 3. Stay present. The more you anchor into the now, the less overwhelming the future becomes. In the end, your mindset is your greatest power. When you master your thoughts, you begin to master your life. You'll find that clarity, peace, and solutions start flowing to you naturally. Because in this journey, the inner world creates the outer world. And in the next part, we'll explore a surprising habit that can instantly bring your focus and energy back to center. Now that we've talked about mastering your thoughts, it's time to pair that inner clarity with something equally powerful: trusting in divine timing. This is one of the most challenging and yet essential principles in life. Because let's be honest, when we want something badly, we want it now. We rush, we push, we try to force the outcome. But here's a truth most of us learn the hard way: rushing rarely gets us there faster. In fact, it often leads to mistakes, burnout, and missed opportunities. Why? Because in the rush, we skip the process. We miss the small lessons. We overlook details. And sometimes, we miss the very thing that would have helped us grow the most. But when we slow down, when we allow life to unfold, something incredible happens. In the stillness, we change. In the waiting, we grow. In the pause, we prepare to receive exactly what we need at exactly the right time. We live in a world that rewards speed, fast food, fast results, instant gratification. But real things, meaningful things, can't be rushed. Just like you can't dig up a seed every day to see if it's growing, you can't force a dream to bloom before its season. Here's where Stoic wisdom returns. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." And he's right. Whether it's success, wisdom, healing, or self-growth, none of it happens overnight. It takes time, trust, and patience. Your job isn't to force the outcome. Your job is to show up, stay ready, and allow life to meet you where you are. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, let's call her Sophie, was deeply focused on achieving success in her career. She worked day and night, constantly pushing herself to climb faster, win more, reach higher. But no matter how hard she tried, things just didn't click. Doors kept closing. She felt stuck, defeated, like she was running in circles. One day, Sophie made a bold decision. She let go. She stopped forcing outcomes and instead focused on growth. She improved her skills, nurtured her network, and most importantly, she trusted the process. And slowly but surely, life responded. Opportunities began appearing. Things that once felt out of reach started flowing to her, naturally, without struggle. She realized something powerful. When she stopped trying to control everything, she created space for the right timing to find her. So how do you learn to trust divine timing? Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll break it down step by step, and it might just change the way you move through life forever. In the last part, we explored how surrendering control and trusting in divine timing opens the door for everything to align at the right moment. Now let's talk about how you show up during the wait, because your energy matters. This brings us to a powerful shift. Let go of the need to control. Stop trying to force things into place before they're ready. Trying to control everything only clogs the flow. It brings stress, not success. Instead, shift your focus to growth, not the outcome. Invest in yourself. Learn, evolve, improve, and trust that when you're ready, the opportunities meant for you will appear. Like a flower blooming at the perfect time, not too early, not too late. And most importantly, be patient. Understand this. Everything in life has its own rhythm. Trying to rush the process is like yelling at the sun to rise faster. It doesn't work. It only leaves you frustrated and tired. At its core, trusting divine timing is an act of faith. When you let go and stop pushing, you create the space for the right things to flow toward you at exactly the right time. Now let's dive into the next key. Act with purpose, not desperation. This one is subtle, but crucial. It's easy to panic when we feel time slipping away. We get caught in the noise, the rush, the pressure, and before we know it, we're acting not from clarity, but from fear. You chase, you push, you scramble. But here's the truth. Desperation repels. Purpose attracts. When you act out of fear or urgency, your energy becomes chaotic. Instead of drawing in results, you repel them. You attract confusion, resistance, and missed chances. It's like trying to catch butterflies by running wildly through a field. They just fly further away. True success flows from calm, intentional energy, not from panic, not from pressure. Purposeful action is steady, grounded, confident. It doesn't need to be loud or frantic. It just moves, clear and sure, in the right direction. When you know who you are and where you're going, every step you take becomes a magnet. People feel that quiet confidence, and they trust it. But when your actions reek of desperation, trying to get attention, rushing to catch up, clinging to anything, it shows. People sense it. And it pushes them away. This is where Stoic wisdom lights the path again. Epictetus once said, "First, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." That's it. Begin with who you want to become. Let your vision, your values, your purpose guide you. Then align your actions with that identity. When you do, your energy shifts from, "I hope this works," to, "This is who I am." Let me share a quick story. A man I know, let's call him Jack, was deeply frustrated in his career. He was working nonstop, chasing every opportunity he could find, doing everything he thought he should. But nothing clicked. No matter how hard he pushed, the doors stayed shut. What changed? Let's continue in the next part, because Jack's breakthrough holds a lesson that could shift everything for you too. Previously, we saw how Jack's transformation came the moment he stopped chasing with desperation and started acting with purpose. When he aligned with his values, life began to align with him. And now, we explore one of the most freeing shifts of all, letting go of control. This might be one of the hardest concepts to fully embrace, especially in a world that constantly tells us to take control, make it happen, and never let go. But here's the truth that most of us learn through experience. The more you try to control everything, the more out of control you feel. We try to manage every detail, how others behave, how situations unfold, what the future looks like. We stress, we obsess, we spiral. We cling tightly to things that were never ours to control in the first place. But what happens when you release that grip? Something beautiful, something freeing. You begin to reclaim the one thing you can control: yourself, your actions, your mindset, your responses. Think about it. You can't control the weather. You can't control what other people think, say, or do. You can't control the twists and turns of life, but you can control how you show up. You can choose peace over panic. You can respond with clarity instead of reacting with fear. And in doing that, you free yourself from carrying the unbearable weight of the world. Here's the reality. The more energy you spend trying to control the uncontrollable, the more drained and frustrated you become. But when you turn inward, mastering your reactions, staying grounded in your values, focusing on your personal growth, life starts to soften. Everything doesn't have to be forced into place, because things start to fall into place. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing to direct your energy wisely. It means trusting yourself, even when you don't trust the situation. It means finding power not in force, but in inner steadiness. So what if, starting today, you stopped fighting to hold everything together and started focusing on holding yourself together? In the next part, we'll explore exactly how to do that, starting with a simple mindset shift that can instantly release stress and bring peace. Previously, we explored the freedom that comes from releasing control, and when you finally stop gripping so tightly, something incredible happens. Your energy returns to you. You stop pouring it into everything outside of your control, and you start directing it inward with clarity, calm, and quiet strength. Instead of spinning in circles trying to fix everything, you begin to move forward with intention. You start to see that your power doesn't lie in what the world does. It lies in how you choose to respond. This, once again, echoes the wisdom of Epictetus. He said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Think about that. Real freedom doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from no longer needing to. It's the peace of mind that comes when you finally stop worrying about the storms you can't stop and focus on how you carry your umbrella. When you let go of the uncontrollable, you begin to live fully inside what you can shape. You stop reacting from fear, and you start responding with wisdom, calm, and clarity. Let me tell you a story. A woman I know, let's call her Anna, spent years paralyzed by worry. She was constantly anxious about the future. What would people think of her? Would her career succeed or fall apart? What if she made the wrong choices? The more she obsessed, the more stuck she felt. Her energy scattered, her confidence drained, and progress stalled. Until one day, Anna made a simple decision. She stopped trying to control everything around her. Instead, she focused on mastering herself, her thoughts, her reactions, and her daily actions. She began showing up with presence and intention. She let go of the urge to micromanage every moment of her life. And slowly something shifted. Peace returned. Opportunities appeared, seemingly out of nowhere. Life began to flow, and she realized, when she let go of control, life had room to meet her halfway. So how do you let go of control? First, narrow your focus to what you can control: your thoughts, your responses, your actions. Second, release the need for everything to go exactly as planned. Life has its rhythm. Let it dance. Finally, embrace the unknown. Accept that uncertainty isn't the enemy, it's a space of possibility. At the end of the day, true freedom doesn't come from managing everything perfectly. It comes from mastering yourself and trusting that everything else will unfold in its time. And when you stop controlling, life suddenly feels lighter, doesn't it? Now, speaking of lightness, let's move into one of the most transformational mindset shifts of all: embodying the energy of abundance. In the last section, we discovered the lightness that comes when you stop trying to control everything and instead trust the flow of life. Now, let's take that trust one step further by stepping into the energy of abundance. Because here's the truth: abundance is already within you. And once you begin to live as if you already have what you desire, everything around you begins to shift. This mindset change is subtle but powerful. When you stop waiting for someday to feel abundant and instead choose to live from that feeling now, your world transforms. You stop operating from a place of lack. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Suddenly, you're not waiting for more confidence. You embody it. You're not waiting for the perfect opportunity. You become ready for it. This simple inner shift moves you from scarcity to overflow. Here's the reality: when you act as if you already have the abundance you seek, you align your behavior with belief. You stand taller. You move with clarity, and you become more open to receiving, not out of desperation, but from a place of deep trust. You're no longer saying, "I'll be happy when I have this." You're saying, "I'm already whole, and more is on the way." And that shift, that energy, it draws everything to you. Once again, Stoic wisdom puts it beautifully. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True abundance isn't about gathering more, it's about needing less. It's about realizing that right now, in this very moment, you already hold the seeds of the life you dream of. When you shift from chasing to appreciating, from grasping to trusting, you become magnetic. Let me tell you a story. A man I know, let's call him James, spent years chasing. He believed that once he reached a certain income, a certain title, a certain level of status, he'd finally feel fulfilled. But the more he ran after it, the emptier he felt. The closer he thought he was, the further it seemed. Until one day, James paused. He decided to shift his perspective. He began living as if he already had enough. He practiced gratitude for his health, his friends, his skills, his journey. He stopped needing more in order to feel whole. And what happened? Everything changed. Opportunities began to flow. People noticed him, not because he was trying harder, but because he radiated contentment. He was no longer chasing out of fear. He was attracting from abundance. The moment he embodied what he once chased, life began reflecting that energy back to him. So how do you embody the energy of abundance? First, practice gratitudes. Every single day, appreciate what's already in front of you. Second, let go of your tight grip on outcomes. Trust that what's meant for you is already on the way. And third, live with the belief that you are already abundant. Let that belief shape your thoughts, your actions, and your energy. At the end of the day, abundance isn't something you find. It's something you become. And when you stop chasing what you think you lack, you finally open space for everything you desire to come in with ease. Now let's build on this energy by unlocking a mindset that anchors abundance deeply into your daily life. It's time to explore the art of receiving. In the last part, we explored how embodying abundance changes everything. When you stop chasing what you think you lack and start living from a place of inner wholeness. Now let's take that energy into action with clarity, intention, and the power to let go. Because here's a truth we all need to hear again. Take aligned action and then release control. Sounds simple, right? But it's one of the hardest things to practice. Too often we fall into the trap of thinking that the harder we push, the faster we'll succeed. We overwork, overthink, and overstress, believing that if we just do more, worry more, and control more, the results will come. But life doesn't respond well to force. It flows best through alignment, trust, and surrender. Here's the real magic. Do the work, then let go of the need for immediate outcomes. Because the more you obsess over the result, the more resistance you create. You block the flow. You drain your energy. You're planting seeds but digging them up every day to check if they've sprouted. Instead, what if you simply did the work that felt aligned and then let it go? That's where true progress comes from. Aligned action, inner patience, purposeful steps forward without anxiety chasing your heels. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca once said, "Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety." Let that settle for a moment. The greatest outcomes often come not from rushing, but from staying steady. Not from panicking, but from trusting. When you act with intention and then release the attachment to when and how things unfold, life has space to surprise you. Opportunities can enter. Peace can return. And success? It stops being a constant chase and becomes a quiet arrival. Let me share a story with you. A woman I know, let's call her Grace, was struggling to grow her business. She poured her energy into it day and night. She chased every lead, said yes to everything, and constantly stressed about her progress. The harder she pushed, the more stuck she felt. It was like running on a treadmill, moving endlessly but getting nowhere. Then one day, a mentor told her something that changed everything. Take aligned action. Do what you know feels right. Then let go of the outcome. Trust that what's meant for you will arrive. That one idea shifted her entire mindset. Grace began focusing on intentional work instead of frantic movement. She let go of the constant, "When will it happen?" and leaned into, "This is what I choose today." She worked from clarity, not chaos. And within a few months, something shifted. Opportunities came, effortlessly. Clients showed up. Partnerships formed. The success she had been chasing started flowing naturally because she stopped forcing and started aligning. So how do you take aligned action and let go? First, ask yourself, is this action in line with my purpose? If yes, move forward. If not, pause. And second, give your best, but don't demand instant results. Let time do its part. Third, replace urgency with trust. Let go of the need to control when things happen. At the end of the day, it's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things and allowing life to meet you halfway. And when you do that, you'll be amazed at how quickly everything starts falling into place. Now let's take this even further, because aligned action is powerful, but when paired with deep self-worth, it becomes unstoppable. In the next part, we'll talk about cultivating self-belief, the root of all lasting transformation. As we just saw in Grace's story, the turning point wasn't when she pushed harder, it was when she stopped forcing the outcome and started trusting the process. That's the real key. So how do you take aligned action and truly let go? First, focus only on what you can control. Take actions that reflect your values. Do what feels purposeful and aligned with your inner compass. Then trust deeply that the rest will unfold in its own way, in its own time. Second, practice patience. This isn't always easy in a world that rewards instant results, but real, meaningful growth takes time. The right outcomes often take shape silently beneath the surface, just like seeds growing before they bloom. Trust that the work you're doing today is planting something that will blossom when the season is right. And finally, release the need to control everything. Let go of the obsessive grip on the outcome. Loosen your timeline. Remember, what's meant for you is already finding its way to you. You just need to stop standing in its path. At the end of the day, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters and then having the courage to let go. Because when you lead with effort and patience instead of force and anxiety, you invite flow back into your life. You stop chasing success like it's something far away, and you realize that success begins meeting you where you are. So take the step, do the work, and then let it go. Let the universe, the process, the timing handle the rest. Because when you stop clinging, stop pushing, and stop chasing, that's often when everything you've been working toward begins to arrive. If this message has resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more insights, and leave a comment below to share what you're letting go of today. Your support helps us grow and keep bringing meaningful content your way. Now let's move forward with the final piece of this journey, one that ties everything together, becoming the version of yourself that already has what you desire. Now that we've explored aligned action and the art of letting go, there's one final shift that ties everything together, becoming the version of you who already has what you desire. This is about embodying the future you now, not waiting, not hoping, but living as if it's already true. When you fully step into the mindset, energy, and habits of your future self, you send a powerful message to your subconscious and to the world. This is who I am now. And something amazing happens. You start attracting the things that match that identity, not because you're forcing them, but because you're aligned with them. Here's the truth. You don't manifest by waiting. You manifest by becoming. So what does this actually look like? It means showing up today as the person who already feels confident, peaceful, fulfilled. It means asking yourself, how would the future me act in this moment? How would they speak? How would they treat themselves? How would they respond to this challenge? And then, choosing to act that way now, because the version of you that has what you desire doesn't chase, doesn't cling, doesn't wait for permission. They trust. They move with purpose. They let go. And they live from a place of abundance and clarity. This is where the journey becomes full circle. The Stoics taught us this in their own way, through discipline, alignment, and self-awareness. Their teachings weren't about achieving more. They were about being more grounded, more intentional, more free. Let me tell you a final story. There's someone I worked with, let's call her Maya. She used to constantly second-guess herself, waiting for everything to be perfect before she took action. She thought, once I feel confident, I'll start showing up differently. But that confidence never came because she was waiting to feel it before she became it. One day, we flipped the script. She started asking, what if I already am the person I'm trying to become? What if I showed up like her today? And she did. She spoke with clarity. She moved with trust. She stopped explaining herself. She stopped shrinking. And guess what? Her outer world began reflecting that inner shift. People responded differently. Opportunities showed up, not because she changed who she was, but because she owned who she already was. So how do you become that version of yourself? And first, get clear on who that version is. Define them, feel them. And second, take small daily actions that reflect that identity. Walk, talk, decide like that version of you. Third, trust that as you step into it, life will begin to mirror it back. You don't become her or him someday. You become them now. And from that place, everything begins to align. Now let's wrap it all up, bringing together every lesson you've learned in this journey into one powerful final reflection. So here we are, the end of this journey, but truly the beginning of something much deeper. You've walked through every powerful shift, from detaching from outcomes to mastering your mindset, from trusting divine timing to acting with purpose, from letting go of control to embracing abundance, and finally, to becoming the version of you who already has what you desire. Each step was never about adding more pressure to your life. It was about peeling away the layers, clearing the noise, and coming back home to yourself, because everything you're seeking out there is actually waiting in here within you. This journey is about remembering. You don't need to chase. You don't need to force. You just need to align. When you release control, when you trust your pace, when you show up with presence, purpose, and quiet belief, you become magnetic. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time. Let that sink in. Let this be your reminder. You're already becoming. You're already enough. And life is already unfolding for you, even when you can't see it yet. So now I want to leave you with one final reflection. What's one thing you're ready to let go of today? And one belief you're ready to step into? Drop it in the comments. Let this be your declaration. If this video touched something in you, please give it a like, subscribe for more grounded wisdom, and share it with someone who needs this message. And most importantly, carry this energy with you, not just for today, but for tomorrow. For the version of you that's already arriving, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Until next time, keep walking with purpose and let life meet you halfway.